Hello, I'm Clive King, Malmesbury Pottery. I'm going to show you today, or demonstrate today, hopefully, some basic methods of throwing pottery. It's going to be a simple mug today, but you can see how complicated actually quite a basic item like a mug is when it's thrown on a wheel. This is the clay I'm using. It's Pot Clay's white earthenware clay. It's called white earthenware, but it's actually slightly stone colour. Goodness knows why they call it white clay, but it's not terracotta, which is the traditional earthenware clay. So now I'm going to show you how I prepare it first, and this requires it to be kneaded like a loaf of bread. So we need to remove the air from the clay, otherwise it will cause it to go off centre when we're actually throwing the vessel. So we just work the clay round like this, so it's like a rotation, so you get this sort of cone shape. As you're working it round, just need to do this a few times, because I say the clay is in pretty good condition actually to start with, as it's a new bag. And we work it round like that and just flatten it off. And then we can wire it through just to check that there isn't any air in the clay. Oh, there, you can see there's one there, so I need to work that a little bit longer. I'll just do this again. Sometimes you can hear the clay actually pop with the air that's in it. This is one of the things that a beginner will often try and cut corners on, and it will cause trouble later on, as I'll explain later. So that's it, that's basically ready to go. The next thing I need to do, because I'm going to make 11 mugs in this instance for a school, a local school at Oaksey actually. They're for school leavers, for the year 6 school leavers, which I do every year. So this year they want 11. But to make sure they're all the same size, you need to weigh them first. In this instance I'm using old school 10-ounce weight there, so you weigh each one 10 ounces, so you know that you're not going to make them too big or too small. It just helps regularize the size. Okay, so and then just work it again. Once you've weighed out the clay to the appropriate size and weight, we start the throwing process. As you can see, I use an electric wheel. You could use the old-fashioned kick wheel, which I trained on. It's much harder work, and you do end up with a leg that's slightly bigger than the other leg because all the work's on one side. However, I've used an electric wheel, as you could see, and it makes the whole process a lot smoother. The throwing process involves just literally throwing the clay into the centre of the wheel. So, and that's all the throwing there is. That's how it derives its name. From now on, we need to make sure that this clay is rotating in the centre. And as you can see, it's not. So in order to make sure this is running smoothly, I need to wet my hands. Both hands just to lubricate the clay. Keep my forearms anchored firmly on the side of the wheel, and then compress the clay from both sides. And slightly downward pressure. I'll use my thumb for that to make sure that the clay sticks to the wheel. Once you've done this, remove the clay, pressure the clay up and down. This causes it to centre, hopefully. And as you can see now, the clay is running in the centre of the wheel. In order to open up the clay, through the axis of the ball of clay. Not going too far, otherwise you'll go through the bottom. And then just gradually work the clay out from the centre. And then we just make sure that it's smooth in the base. And again, I'm using all the clay, so I'm not leaving it too thick, which a beginner tends to do. And you smooth it out to the diameter you require. Once you've done that, you need to stop the wheel just to check, using a sharp pointed knife, that we haven't left too much clay in the base or too little. And that's about right, it's about 5mm depth. Got the hands again, smooth over the hole. Move the hands out to the outside. And then we need to bring this wall up. I just squeeze the clay between my two fingers there. Bring the clay in. And then I swap my left hand into the inside, my right hand on the outside, and I use these opposing fingers here to bring the rest of the clay up. See, it's reached the height that I need. So I just open it up a little bit, smooth off the rim. Smooth off the outside. Just get that shape right. It's quite a dumpy little mug that I make for this school. I use the same shape actually for the Abbey mugs as well that they use in the tea rooms. Just use a sponge to make sure there's no water in the base, because if I leave the water in the base, as it dries, it will dry unevenly, and very often it will cause it to track across the bottom. The edge is really quite rough down here, and you can't get your fingers right into the corner, so I just use the edge of this little tool here to go into the corners. You've got a nice neat edge. Back in the inside, press out again, make sure that I've got a nice curve to the outside of that pot there, so you've got a lovely profile, hopefully. Bring it out. And then you can see on my throwing where my fingers have made these rings here, which I don't really want in this instance on the pot, because it's going to have a logo on it which shows what school it's from. So I want a smooth pot, so we just use that to smooth it off. And then with the sponge, again, I just take residue off around the rim on the side, and that's it. We slow the wheel right down now. Put a bit of water on the base to make sure we can lift it off properly, and I'll wire it through. In this instance I use fishing line actually, just a basic fishing line, and then hopefully this will lift off. And you just place it on a commercial, and I use a commercial tile which is porous on one side and just helps to dry the pot on the base nice and evenly. And that's it until probably tomorrow, when the clay is a little bit drier, what we call leather hard, when I can turn it over and finish off the base, put the handle on it and put the design on the front.